Hello, everybody. This is Melanie and Emily here with the Yellowjackets Hive presented by Cord Cutting. So we actually recorded a video the other day where we speculated on a Yellowjackets bonus episode with Jason Ritter because, of course, we know he filmed for season 2, but we still have not seen him.
Yeah.
Well, since then, we've had some breaking news. So we're back. We wanted to do an extra segment and add it on to update our speculation about the Jason Ritter bonus episode with some actual real proof from Ashley Lyle herself.
Yes. So thankful she gave us that.
Oh my goodness. So thankful. And let's walk it back to the other night. It was Thursday night. It was about to be Friday. And there was speculation that there was going to be a bonus episode actually dropping last week, right?
Yeah.
So our friend Kaylee, cosplay queen in the Yellowjackets fandom, actually tweeted and said, listen, I watched a live stream of a burning candle and the freaking Super Bowl on the blind hope of a trailer. Staying up a couple of hours late on the off chance of a bonus episode, walk in the park. Emily, what did Ashley Lyle reply?
She said, no, go to bed, get some rest. There will be a bonus episode between seasons, but I love you guys and I don't want y'all to lose sleep thinking it's tonight.
Yes. So we got confirmation there will, in fact, be a bonus episode.
Mm-hmm.
Adding on to that, somebody asked, when is it? To which she replied,
closer to season 3. I'm not being coy. There's a strike and things are complicated.
So we don't know when season 3 is. We know it probably won't be very soon, but that leads me to believe that they may have to end up doing some more filming for it.
Maybe.
Or some more writing for it, adding to that layer of complexity. So great news. We are getting our bonus episode. We actually also went live on Instagram to talk about it. So check out our Instagram live. We dropped that the day after we got the news and went a little bit more in depth. But you can also check out the rest of our video, which is coming now, where we continue speculating. But again, we just wanted to make sure we're current. Everybody knows about the bonus episode. It's now been covered widely. So we just wanted to be sure we're doing our due diligence and bringing you guys the latest and greatest from the Yellowjackets fandom.
If only we knew what it was about.
If only. I mean, I'm sticking with my thing. Maybe it will end up being like a Father's Day type thing. Not this Father's Day, because obviously that's very soon and not close to season 3. But maybe it could be a holiday, Halloween type thing.
Maybe even Christmas.
Maybe even Christmas. I mean, who knows? Or as we talked about in our Instagram live, maybe it's a standalone. Maybe it's like a pre-crash flight thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's in the 1998 rescue timeline or something totally different. But I'm still betting on Jason Ritter and Cabin Daddy backstory.
Yeah, I think so too. Just because like we know he was there filming and we haven't seen that footage and they said he's going to appear at some point in some way. And we know it's not in the adult timeline.
We know that for a fact. So we'll hedge our bets. And until we get our bonus episode, enjoy the rest of this video with a little bit more speculation and our hopes of getting Jason Ritter and the Cabin Daddy backstory. Yeah. Welcome to the Yellowjackets Hive, presented by cordcutting.com. I'm Media Melanie here with...
And I'm Emily.
So today's topic is, will we get a Cabin Daddy backstory and or bonus episode with the Jason Ritter footage? Hopefully, right? We know that they filmed.
That is the big topic. Yeah.
That is the big topic.
About it.
The whole reason we're even talking about it is based on this tweet from Ashley Lyle, of course, the co-creator of Yellowjackets. She said 9 main episodes in season 2. Someone replied, main? And she said, never say no to bonus episodes. So to me, that means we're probably going to get a bonus episode. We know that there is this footage out there, so it's not far off to speculate that there could be a bonus episode, unless it was just a cut scene, which we'll get into a little bit later. But backing up a minute, let's talk about exactly who Cabin Daddy is.
Yes.
So in season 1, in the finale, we saw dead hunter guy who's a dead French-Canadian hunter who is the skeleton in the chair in the cabin in the wilderness. Cabin Daddy was played by William Vaughn. In between seasons 1 and 2, there were multiple sources from the show itself, Jonathan Lisco, and he said that in season 2 would be getting some form of a backstory on Cabin Daddy. And Emily, what exactly did Jonathan Lisco specifically say about it?
So he was interviewed by Decider, and they asked him, if the hunter was a true supernatural force haunting the girls in the cabin and if we'd learn more about it in season 2. And this is a direct quote from him. He said, "I love the creativity of our fans because many of them think, well, why would he have died in that chair? But the dark force could equally just have been absolute paralyzing fear. I would like to submit the hunter may actually be traumatized in the course of season 2 because in our mind's eye, we have a whole backstory, an entire narrative about that French-Canadian hunter. Let's call him for the moment, and his family, and why he used to go to the cabin and what he used to do with his children, almost in a Shining-esque way, perhaps, and how things went for him and why the energy now in the cabin is such that it's affecting the girls in this way. I could totally see it going in that direction for season 2. Granted, that was right, that was press coverage, not long after the finale of season 1. But it's very clear that they've had these plans in the works if he's already talking about it right after season 1 ended.
We should also point out that there was recently an article by Entertainment Tonight titled Yellowjackets. Jason Ritter did not appear in season 2, but will still show up at some point. Yes. We should also mention that Entertainment Tonight featured our tweet in that article. We had suspected that perhaps Cabin Daddy backstory with Jason Ritter would be a season 2 cliffhanger. Yes. Of course, that did not happen, but there was a spot we identified where we could have potentially seen that deleted. And what part was that, Emily?
That would be when Van was telling her story. She set it up very much and we've discussed this before, but the way that she set it up, it felt like she was setting it up for us to see a flashback of something. And obviously, as we know, we didn't see a flashback of anything, but that would have been the logical spot for them to insert some kind of footage or a storyline about him. That would have been absolutely perfect because her story was about the wilderness. And she started talking about the cabin being built right as Lottie cut her off. That was what she was talking about. So yeah, that left me really curious. I was really expecting a flashback and I was a little bummed we didn't get one.
I was fully expecting that to be the spot where they inserted the Jason Ritter cameo. Of course, we don't know how much they actually filmed with him, but we can garner some information from a quote that Melanie Linsky gave to Entertainment Tonight. The idea for Ritter's cameo came from co-creator and showrunner Ashley Lyle. It was not my idea. It was not his idea, she said. Ashley, in fact, came to him and said, would you do this particular thing? And he was really excited. I don't love the way they call it a cameo because technically a cameo could potentially be a shorter scene. Maybe there's not enough footage for a full bonus episode. Of course, we can hope. And the cutest thing is that Melanie and Jason have, of course, worked together before. Candy on Hulu, which we both watched and enjoyed. Not only did Melanie Linsky and Jason Ritter get to work with each other, but also Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake appeared on the show together. So there were not one, but 2 married couples on there. Candy was not the only time that Jason and Melanie have recently worked together. Melanie shared on Jimmy Fallon that her and Jason also worked together on The Last of Us on HBO. Jason played a clicker. He spent some time doing extensive stunt training, incredible makeup, and that was just another experience that they worked together. So while it's a bummer that we don't get to see them on screen together in Yellowjackets, it's very cute that they're both working in the same universe of the Yellowjackets show.
It would have been something if they had him be the clicker that actually was responsible for killing her character in the show.
Oh my God, that would have been next level. There were some behind the scenes photos that were released on Instagram. They were released on the account of the twins who play this baby that we can see Jason Ritter holding in a baby holder, baby carrier in the footage that he shot. Not only do we see a baby here, but we also see a very familiar looking jacket, Emily.
Yes, we most certainly do. And that is not the only time that we see the jacket. We see the jacket on Lottie.
Yep.
We see the jacket on Javi.
Yep. Yeah.
And we also see the jacket. Well, as we all know, we see the jacket on Travis. He's the one that wears it the most. Yeah. But we also see it on Paul in Ben's hallucination.
Right. I mean, this jacket is getting a lot of play, and I think it's really the puzzle piece that ties together the fact that Jason Ritter is either playing Cabin Daddy or perhaps even Cabin Granddaddy. I mean, we don't know how many generations this cabin has been in the family. We don't know how many kids and people have been there. We don't know if the French Canadian hunter, dead cabin guy / cabin daddy was some kind of serial killer. We've talked about a potential tie-in with Robert Hansen before. So who knows?
It always was very interesting to me too, like the fact that they found his body in the attic, and not that they found his body in the attic, but the fact that he had missing fingers. I don't know if you remember that, but they specifically, like, they bring it up because when they buried him, right after they buried him, Lottie was like awake at night, and Natalie woke up and saw her sitting up staring at the attic, and she was talking about the guy, and Natalie says, like, we buried him, like, he's gone. And then later on in the same episode, like, she makes a joke, like, maybe it's the dead guy's fingers, like, trying to make their way back to his body. So she brings it up that he was missing fingers, and it doesn't make sense if he did shoot himself, why he would be missing fingers. Like, that doesn't add up to me. Like, because he had the gun was sitting next to the chair in the attic. Like, we see the gun there, but it didn't seem like that was what happened. It seemed like he died some other way.
It does seem that way. And could his fingers be missing? Potentially he tried to spill his own blood in some way as a sacrifice. Ooh, maybe. Yes. I don't know. Just surmising. But
totally possible.
Back to the ET article again. They do say that Jason Ritter will appear in the world of Yellowjackets at some point. With this series, you never know where he might pop up. And just another interesting note in that same article was something that Kevin Alves had said. Yeah. He said in a conversation about the finale that there was some stuff in the episodes they filmed that didn't make the show, and several longer scenes were trimmed down in the final cut. Could he be alluding to Cabin Daddy stuff and that fairy tale reference that Van was talking about? We also know they cut the scene out where they had the conversation about pulling the cards. Yeah. So, of course, he could be referencing that. Maybe there's some other stuff. Maybe they're just going to do a bonus episode with like bloopers and missing scenes, extended scenes type of thing. But I think that we're all hoping that there's a Jason Ritter bonus episode that really goes into the Cabin Daddy history.
Yeah, because I can't see, like, if they do give us this bonus episode, I can't see them giving us more storyline to season 2. Like, right. Because especially in the teen timeline, the way the teen timeline ended, that was, like, in my opinion, the perfect cliffhanger. Like, it was a great way to end it. Was not expecting that to happen at all. And so I can't see them going further than that. And I feel like the Cabin Daddy storyline is obviously going to play into the teen timeline way more so than the adult timeline. Because if we do get a backstory about him and explaining the cabin, like, I feel like they could, like, interweave it with scenes of the teens in the cabin at the same time.
Definitely. And of course, now with the cabin gone, perhaps they decided that storyline fit better into season 3 to give a little bit more context as to the cabin, who built it, why there's some strange things going on. So, I mean, I do think with the cabin burning down, maybe that was the decision to put the backstory in season 3, or as a standalone episode. We've suspected perhaps if they do release a bonus episode, maybe it would be around Father's Day, or perhaps if it's kind of that whole Shining vibe, maybe it will be a Halloween special. I mean, I would love to see that.
I kind of hope that if we do get one, like, as much as I would love for it to be tonight, I like the wait for season 3 we know is going to be a little longer than we might like. So I would rather it be a little bit later to kind of, like, just give us a little bit in between, because, like, we're going to be theorizing about the same stuff for the next year. So to get it, like, Halloween would be awesome, because that would be, like, midway through, I feel like, when
it would be perfect. And, you know, a year still might be a little aggressive. It's possible it could be closer to 2 years, of course, depending on the writer's strike, which, of course, WGA is strong over here. And then, of course, getting it into production, making sure, the cast and crew is all fully committed and ready. And just one more thing on the Jason Ritter Cabin Daddy footage topic. There were rumors out there that there could be a spinoff for Yellowjackets. And one of the things referenced was an origin story of dead hunter guy, cabin daddy, French-Canadian hunter. That would be something too. I think that the entire fellow Jackets group would appreciate any other story, context, anything that they can get in the Yellowjackets verse, right?
Yeah, and as we said earlier, it's been theorized that like he might not even be playing our cabin daddy. He might be playing like our cabin granddaddy, if you will, or something like that. That's been like so talked about. I'm pretty sure like the first person I heard reference that was Lisa Matthews in our group chat on Facebook. Like because we were all talking about the fact that like we suspect that he'll be playing cabin daddy, and she threw it out there like maybe it's his grandfather, maybe it's his father, which I would have never even considered like in a million years.
Very smart. And shout out to Lisa Matthews. She's actually one of our patrons and sitting backstage right now. We see you back there. Thank you for coming in to watch, get a little sneak peek at our exclusive content. So yeah, I mean, we don't know exactly what yet.
What else could they give us in a bonus episode if we don't get that storyline?
The other thing I was thinking is perhaps we'd get more pre-crash stuff, like how we saw the scene with their health class, of course, with Coach Ben teaching them where they got their limited information on child's birth, or maybe they develop a 1998 rescue timeline where, we maybe get an episode on just post-rescue and that's it.
Did you kind of find it weird? This is like veering off topic just for a second, but did you find it kind of weird that they showed us that one scene of the post-rescue in season 2 and they never revisited it? Like,
never revisited
why give us that little breadcrumb and not go back to it? And we don't see all the survivors in that scene either. Like we see a couple of them, but there are still people that we don't know if they make it out from that scene.
Exactly.
We don't see Coach Ben. We don't see Akila.
Nope.
We might see Mari.
There was a little screenshot I think I saw on Twitter that looked very Mari to me.
But yeah, I just thought that was so weird to give us just that like one scene and then just like that's it.
Yeah, exactly. But, maybe that goes back to that was something that was cut out for the season, or maybe that's something in development that they're really going to go into more in season 3. It's hard to say. But all I know is that with these pictures having been floating around out there with Jason Ritter, with the ET article that confirms Jason Ritter will still show up at some point, I think it's safe to say we will be getting some sort of cabin daddy story, backstory, something at some point. And to your point, hopefully a little bit down the line. So that way it spreads it out a little bit, right? We have something to look forward to.
It's the jacket for me. Like that's what I keep going back to in this whole scenario, because why would he be wearing that jacket if it doesn't somehow factor into what we're seeing? Like, we've seen it on multiple people. It's obviously an important piece of clothing for other reasons than to keep them warm. Like it's tying like other storylines together, like based off of that picture that we saw.
Yep, it sure is. It sure is. So place your bets, everybody. We all want this Jason Ritter cameo, bonus episode, backstory, origin story. So hopefully it gets delivered.
Yes, for sure.
Well, thank you for tuning in to our exclusive video for Cord Cutting. We appreciate all of you, and we'll be back with more soon.
Until we spill again.